walked through my front door at 6:30 p.m. I was looking for dinner and quiet when I got home. And my wife, she started talking before I even got my boots off my feet. Something about a conflict in the homeschool co-op. Without missing a beat, I gave her a full strategy, what to say, how to handle it, and why it all mattered. I was probably proud of myself in that moment. I had solved it in under 30 seconds. But then I watched her physically tense up, and she turned around and she walked away. Later that night, she said 4 words that stopped me absolutely cold. I didn't need fixing. That skill that makes you indispensable at work is the exact skill that could quietly destroy your marriage. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how to leave the job at the door before it costs you everything that actually matters. This is the Fire Forge Leader Podcast for those who refuse to drift in the mirror, in your marriage, in your fatherhood, in your business, or even in your mission. I'm Steve Baumgartner, your host. Let's begin. I want to take you back to a Tuesday evening. It was 6:30 p.m. I pull into the driveway, my Ford Explorer company vehicle, and I'm done. Absolutely done. I'm cooked for the day. Not tired, but done, if you get what I'm saying. It's the kind of done where you've been making decisions since 5 a.m. Your brain is running on fumes, and all you want to do is sit down. You want to eat something, and you want to hear absolutely nothing for about 15 minutes. And I walk through the door. I haven't taken off my boots yet. My feet are sore as hell, and my wife is right there. And she starts telling me about something that happened at our homeschool co-op. There's a conflict in between some of the families. There's tension, and she's clearly been carrying this weight all day. And me being the fixer, without pausing, without even looking up, I go straight into fix-it mode. I give her this full strategy. Here's what you need to say to them. Here's how you frame it. Here's why this approach will work. I laid it out like I was running a debrief. It was clean. It was efficient. Most importantly, it was solved. And I felt good about it. I thought that I was helping her. But then I watched her whole body get tense. I watched her physically tense up. Her shoulders changed. She stopped mid-sentence, and she turned around with that hair flick that she has when she's angry. And she walked out of the room without a word. Without a word. And later that night, after the kids were in bed, she sat down across from me with that look. And she said the words that are so common to us men, but we often forget. She said, I didn't need you to fix it. I just wanted you to listen to me. And I sat there and I didn't have a response because I realized I hadn't even considered that as an option. Listening without solving, it wasn't even on the menu. It wasn't in my toolkit. I had walked into my own home and run a problem-solving session on my wife like she was a vendor with a logistics issue. Now, we worked it out, but it took the better part of a week. And that's the part that nobody tells you. These things don't resolve over a quick apology. Generally, they get worse before they get better. And every day of that week, I was carrying this weight of knowing that I had caused it. Now, don't get me wrong, I wanted to blame her, but I knew that I had caused this. And here's the reason I'm telling you this. That moment, it's not unique to me. Every man in this space has a version of that same story. The details may change a bit. Maybe it's not the homeschool co-op. Maybe it's with the kids. Maybe it's her job. Maybe it's her family. Maybe it's my family. But the dynamic is identical. You come home still running hot from the day, and you bring the wrong tool into the room. and it costs you every single time. Here's the truth that you've been avoiding. Your wife, she doesn't need that problem solver all the time. What she wants is a partner. You can't optimize and tweak a relationship on your own. It has to be a partnership. But you've convinced yourself that you are the one guy. You think, I'm the problem solver. That's my identity. That's my value. And out in the world, that might be true. When the supply chain breaks, they need you to be cold. They need you to be analytical. They need you to be defensive. But when you bring that exact same energy into your living room, you're not solving problems anymore. You're creating new ones. You're treating your family like a department that needs to be managed. You're treating your wife's emotions like inefficiencies that need to be optimized out of the system. I want you to picture a surgeon, the very best in the hospital. He's got steady hands, zero motion in the OR. That's not a flaw in him. That's the job that is required. That detachment is what actually saves lives. But imagine now that same surgeon who comes home and performs a clinical assessment on his kid's scraped knee. He's got his gloves on. He's got his sterile wipes. He's documenting the wound while his kid just wants a hug. The skill isn't what's wrong. The context is where you have problems. And that's you. Every night, you're walking out of the OR and straight into the living room without ever taking the gloves off. How you lead on the floor is how you lead in your home. But your tools, they gotta change between those environments. You cannot be a forged blade in public and an unrefined one in private. It is one integrated system, but it requires a conscious transition. You have to learn to put the sword down before you walk through your door. I'm going to give you the exact protocol I use to transition from the operator who runs the business to the husband and to the father who leads at home. I call it the S.W.O.R.D method. 5 steps to leave the operator at the front door. Step 1 is shed the armor. You need to have a physical transition ritual before you walk inside the door. You can't go 100 miles an hour in traffic straight into the kitchen. For me, it's taking off my watch and putting it in the center console. That's what it used to be. Now that I work out of my home office, it's shutting off the lights and shutting the door. It's that physical act that signals to my brain the workday is over. Find your physical trigger. It might be taking off your tie. It might be taking off your work boots and putting your shoes on, but you need to shed that armor. Step 2 is you need to wash your mind. That sounds silly. I get it. But you need to give yourself 5 minutes of silence in the driveway. Guys, most people think that we decompress, and we do somewhat on the drive home, but a lot of us don't have drives home anymore. We also have to deal with traffic and every other thing that amps us up on the way home. So give yourself 5 minutes of silence in the driveway, or give yourself 5 minutes in the room right outside of your office. Because what you don't want to do is you don't want to walk into the main part of your house while you're still vibrating with the stress of the last email that you read, the last sales call, the last employee. Sit in that space, the car, the spot outside your office, whatever it is. Turn the radio off. Breathe. Put down your phone. Breathe. Wash that chaos out of your head so you don't bleed it onto your family. Step 3 is open the floor. When you walk in, your first interaction with your family, it can't be a directive. You don't issue orders as soon as you walk in the house. You open the floor. Ask your wife a question. Ask your kids a question. How was your day? And then for type A guys like myself, this is the hardest part for guys like us. That's shutting up. Step 4, receive the hit. All right, that sounds negative, but you're going to listen without problem solving. When she tells you about her day or the kids or the stress that she's got on her right now, your instinct is going to be to fix it. Kill that instinct. Receive the hit. Make sure you give her some nonverbal cues like nodding or facial gestures, whatever. And also acknowledge it by saying, honey, that sounds incredibly frustrating. But whatever you do, don't offer a solution unless she asks for one. Sometimes I use the simple little trick question because I don't understand. Honey, do you need me to listen right now? Or do you need help fixing this? And I've used it enough, my wife genuinely understands that it's an honest question. But I also told her in the beginning of that I was going to ask this question because sometimes I don't understand. And I just want her to answer that so I know what type of husband to be in that moment. Step 5, I already talked about it. Disconnect your device. I want to challenge all you guys to slip your phone into a drawer for the first hour that you're home. Make this a non-negotiable. If you are physically present in your home, but mentally you're still at your plant or in your office or wherever it is, because you're checking Slack, you're checking Facebook, you're checking emails, you're checking whatever, you're already failing. Put the device away and be in the room. Now, when I'm talking about that, I'm talking to myself too. I'm calling myself out right now. But put the device away. If you don't learn how to make this transition, you're going to wake up one day with a massive bank account and an empty house. That's not a metaphor. That is the story of men that I sit across from many times every year. These men are successful by every external measure. The KPIs, the paycheck, the insurance, you name it, the car that they drive, the house they live in. But they're alone in every way that really matters. What I'm talking about isn't theory, it's survival. So here's your homework for this week, and I want you to do this today, not tomorrow. I want you to implement step 1, which is shedding the armor. Before you pull into your driveway tonight, decide on one physical act that signals the workday is over. It could be like taking off your watch, like I explained earlier. It could be leaving your laptop in the car. Whatever it is, I want you to make it deliberate. I want you to make it physical. And I want you to do it every single day until it becomes automatic. If you know you're failing at this, if you know that you are crushing it at work, but your home life is hanging on by a thread, I want you to go to the comments right now and type the word FORGE. My team will send you the Live Free assessment. 3 minutes. It will show you exactly where the leaks in your life are as a man. If this episode hit you, share it with one man who needs to hear it. And also hit subscribe. We do this every single week. I'm Steve Baumgartner, your host. Stay in the fire.